Oh, okay. There we go.
Okay.
All right. Oh, miscellaneous.
No, what?
I can't. I'm camcorder Cam.
Oh, God.
I know.
Welcome back. No.
Welcome back to what?
I don't know.
Welcome in
Yeah.
to this edition. No, yeah, wow. So, no, it's really cool to be back in front of the camera with you. I've been behind the camera for a little while now.
Yeah.
Growing my
And-
hair out, that kind of thing.
Yeah. So, if you're not aware, me and Cameron, well,
Camcorder Cam.
I'm
kidding.
Zelenny.
And I'm Cameron.
What was our old intro? Do you know?
Welcome back to High Key Book Club. I'm
Zelenny.
I'm Cameron.
And we're back-ish. We used to have a podcast called High Key Book Club Podcast where we would review movies and TV shows, and I was doing all the work for that for about a year or so. Cameron was just showing up. I mean, it's not a blame.
Hey, I showed up.
Not blaming him. It's just he was in school and working and all this stuff.
And I was really
lazy. You're busy, and I was not busy, and I was bored, and so I led this project.
I had commitment issues, and I was struggling with my contribution identity, like how I want to give. And I don't know, it was something that you just spearheaded, you had the passion for, so I went along for the ride. But I always felt really bad seeing you work tirelessly to get it all edited to the fans in time.
Not that tirelessly, and not many fans, but I did that for about a year or two, somewhere a year and a half, I think, weekly. And then from there, I finally took the jump to make my own channel and put all my energy into that. And so now I work by myself on the Miscellaneous channel. And it's a very similar concept to what we were doing in the old podcast, but it's just in more of a video commentator format. And I really love that, and we're keeping that going. But I do always miss the podcast format. It's a little more low-key and chill, and it's more fun to have someone there with you. Mm-hmm. And it's really, sad sometimes just me by myself talking to a camera about getting excited about a TV show or movie or whatever, and have no one to, bounce off of at all.
People are always asking me on the street, when are y'all coming back? I miss y'all.
No one's asking that. We're just attempting to see where this goes and try a new podcast.
Air conditioner, yeah.
Yeah, and we're trying to strip it down, have a very chill setup, because we both, Cameron.
The last time we were doing this, we had a green screen rig and
a
MacBook in front of us. We were recording straight into the computer. And I mean, we've definitely made some technology upgrades, and that's enabled us to downgrade certain aspects too. You know what I mean?
Yeah, we just didn't want to deal with all the lights and the setup, and we just did a minimalist technology setup, which isn't, it's not that interesting, but that's why we're just in a more chill vibe. I'm not done up, because I save that for my videos.
Well, but we do have new scenery, so I don't think anybody watching maybe has seen all of this before. When I say all of this, there isn't much to see, but
I did some miscellaneous videos here, actually.
Oh, cool.
Right in the spot while we were moving. That was the only, a couple at some point. But that's it.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, we have since moved into a new space, and this is our living room. And yeah, it's just a lot more open. And one of the great things about it is there's a lot of great natural lighting that comes through the windows here in the front. We have some plants here off to the side that are thriving. And we wanted to thrive in the light with them.
And the couch is my favorite place in the house. And
really?
Yeah.
Hard to believe.
It's where me and Cameron every day have silly conversations about all kinds of pop culture and nonsense. So it just feels more natural to be in this setting rather than in our office. So that all being said, we wanted to move on. We're not doing the same kind of podcast because I think I already have my outlet for that. And also, I don't know if you had that much passion for that. I mean,
well, I mean, I did, but I also have passion for these kinds of things too.
Yeah, I agree.
Like, we have a lot of these kinds of organic conversations all the time, and I mean, I think that was part of the what drove us to want to do this to begin with. But I mean, when it came to doing media, there were just some things a lot of the times that I didn't feel like talking about, and it would often be one-sided, and I felt like, I mean, especially even from a research standpoint too.
Yeah,
like,
I did all the research. You have to muster a lot of like enthusiasm and interest into some things, and I still have to muster up for the Miscellaneous channel a lot.
Yeah.
It's like annoying sometimes when you don't care that much about a movie and you have to cover it or feel like I feel like I do. So,
which I want to go on the record here and say I'm sorry. For
all
the episodes that I felt like you had to carry the weight.
The apology video. You should put out a I'm sorry crying in front of the couch on the floor video. No, it's not like that. And now I have my outlet for that. And what I'm missing more is just conversations.
Yes.
And
but
intellectual conversations or silly conversations, whatever it is.
But I'm not very intellectual, so we'll have to see how that goes. But I'm still okay with talking about some media stuff.
Right.
Like, if something
more
comes
casual.
up, yeah, definitely.
Fun fact: in the old Heike Book Club channel, where this is going to be posted, we have a video that has over like 20,000 views.
Oh yeah.
And it was where I put Cameron in drag. I think it ended up.
Couch.
Yeah, I think it ended up on some playlist about like girlfriends putting boyfriends in drag. I've noticed, this is interesting. I've noticed that like on YouTube, like to get a hit, sometimes you have to do something like sexual adjacent or like kink adjacent. And I'm starting to see that that's like the thing, because I kind of deep dove into the Try Guys after their scandal, and I saw that their first video that blew up before they were even called the Try Guys was one where they tried on women's underwear.
Really?
And I just felt like, like it feels like a little bit of key to a lot of views on YouTube is like something a little like that, or like taboo or something.
Sex sells.
It does. So
sex plus scandal.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Break the bank.
Oh, absolutely. So I thought that was interesting, and it's funny. We like that video has more views than any of the videos I've made for Miscellaneous.
Yeah.
And one of my most viewed videos for Miscellaneous is Sex Lives of College Girls, and I do wonder, that's a TV show, and I do wonder if it's because it has sex in the title, and that's it.
It's a really great question.
Yeah. Okay, so we want to start.
We do. We want to start. That was a preamble.
Yeah.
So we had an interesting week, right?
Yeah, a rough-ish week.
I know.
I keep
kept
calling
pushing
it
back every time you called it a rough week.
Yeah, I kept calling it a rough week. I mean, it's not horrible, not tragic.
Tested.
A little bit, yeah. Just a little bit of a, like, Mercury in retrograde.
Oh, going
Renegade.
There. Renegade.
Gatorade.
Gatorade.
That, like, it felt like a lot of unlucky things happened this week, and so I wanted to just talk about that. Story time. And I wanted to ask you, are you familiar with the storytime genre on YouTube? It had its moment kind of in the mid-2010s, mid to late 2010s.
Got it.
And it's died down now, but it's still...
Who were some people that really went into
Tana.
that? Oh, okay.
Yeah, TanaCon, you know her.
I do.
So she blew up that way, and Gabby Hanna and those people, like, the storytime was big with them. Yeah. So, and usually it was sensationalized. So it was like... my Uber driver kidnapped me or something, and it was just like they took a wrong turn. I don't know. I didn't watch that many, but stuff like that. So I just thought we could do some story times about our rough week.
For sure.
And we also watch a silly podcast, two rich influencers.
A great silly podcast.
A great silly podcast, full coverage. We're like sort of ironically watching it, but also it's funny. I don't know. It's hard to explain.
They're in Los Angeles, and they are influencers for a living.
They're very deep into influencer culture, and it's just interesting to see such a different world from ours.
Definitely. I mean, it's they're in a studio. It's very produced and all, but it's also like their approach to it is pretty raw and off the cuff. So there was a part of that we were wanting to emulate.
Well, they have a segment that I really love. It's my favorite segment they do called Peak and Pit on their podcast. And I thought we could do that, at least for this episode, and not a recurring thing like them. But it's more commonly referred to as Rose and Thorn.
Oh,
and that's,
nice.
I think people are familiar with, people know. And it's like, what was your...
Thorn and its rose.
Right. It's like, what was your rose of the week and what was your thorn of the week?
Wow.
Because every rose has its thorn. You apply it to like what was one good thing that happened to you this day or week or whatever, and one bad thing.
Yeah, I want to work on figuring out what our metaphor could be.
Yeah.
But we'll come. If you have any suggestions, comment below.
Right.
So I was saying like highlight and low light, but yeah,
that's cute.
We
that's
can do
cute.
better.
I like that.
Okay. Well, we'll see if it sticks.
Yeah. So let's go into that.
Yeah. Would you want to start with the highlight or low light? Because
High, low light.
I think I know what your low light is.
Yeah, you do. You were there. I'll start.
And that's actually cool because it relates to my highlight.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay, there we go. So I'll start with my low light. So this past week we went to dinner on Wednesday night, and after dinner we had parked.
It was Thursday night.
Oh, it was Thursday night. Sorry. It was Thursday night.
It's all right. I got you.
And we parked on the street in East Austin, and we were headed back to the car after dinner. It had been a nice time. And
I had been drinking a little bit of sake.
Yeah, Cameron was a little bit tipsy, and I was questioning him if he was okay to drive, because he seemed a little tipsy.
Yeah, it was something like, Cameron, are you okay to drive?
Yeah. And then we were walking to the car, and I took a weird step, and I fell completely to the floor, to the ground.
Yep.
And I fell like forward on my knees and hands, and I didn't trip on anything. It wasn't like a rock. It was not a trip. Usually I'm prone to tripping. And
bad step.
Yeah, bad step. The only weird thing about the ground is that it was a little bit inclined.
It was a like driveway,
like an inclined driveway,
because there was no sidewalk. And I remember we were walking on the street, and I started us out that way because there was no sidewalk, and then you insisted like, let's get out of the street, so let's walk on this grass. So we're walking on grass, and then like randomly there's a driveway that's partially paved, and so it was when we got to that.
Yeah, so it's like inclined, but I wasn't walking like up or down the incline. I was walking like across it, and it was on there that I took a weird step, and my ankle rolled, my knee was scraped, not bad, not bloody, but
yes, if you want to show that.
Oh yeah, I have it here.
Oh my gosh.
There it is. And
for those that are listening at home.
Wow. My hand has like a couple little scrapes that looks like a snake bite,
bracing your fall.
So that was really painful. It was really painful on my ankle. I was scared I like sprained it or something, but after the second day I felt better and it didn't feel so bad. But yeah, it was scary, and now I have bruises developing, and it still hurts, it's still sore, and I just felt it feels so dumb to fall, and I hadn't fallen in a long time. It had been who knows how many years, but I would fall a lot in my youth, and that's what I told Cameron. I have a condition called dyspraxia, which means you're clumsy, and I struggle with balance and stuff. So, yeah, and I grew up thinking it was normal because Lizzie McGuire and rom-coms always portrayed like clumsy female protagonists, and it was like quirky and just a thing, but in the real world, it's not as many people that are always falling,
right?
Like in rom-coms. So that was my low light.
Yeah, and I think twisting up your ankle or just like kind of stepping awkwardly is kind of, but especially on a not level pavement thing like that.
It's true.
This was on a back street. It wasn't like luckily, we couldn't walk on the road.
Well, and no one was there to see, so I was just screaming like it didn't matter because no one was there but Cameron, and Cameron had to help me up. But it was scary because I could barely walk on the ankle I rolled. So, ugh.
Well, no, I mean, I'm glad you're in recovery.
I am.
And
feeling
it doesn't
better.
seem to have been as severe as it could have been.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. So that that was my highlight. Watching
Me
her fall.
It was very funny. Like the days after, I just laugh about it, thinking about it.
I mean, I think every fall is funny.
It is. It is.
That's not to belittle the nature of a fall, but
yeah, there can be really bad ones. Silly. They do.
But yeah, no, it's related to my highlight because we were walking from my highlight, which was having dinner with my stepbrother who was in town. So I'm an only child, but I happen to have one stepbrother, and we don't get to see each other that often. He lives in Houston, and that's where I lived before moving to Austin. And he was in town with his friend to go to the ACL music festival. And they had just come into town, and so we were having kind of like a pre-vacation dinner with them. And yeah, I picked a place that a coworker had recommended. I don't know how to exactly pronounce the name of it. It's like Gayu Kako or something like that. But I guess it's like Japanese barbecue, Korean or Japanese barbecue that is DIY. So you can order like a party platter and you get unlimited selections from this pre-menu of whatever platter you choose. And they just, my stepbrother and his buddy kept just ordering all the things and cooking them. So they have a pit there in front of the table, and they kept just like throwing the meats on there, the shrimp, we had some cucumbers, and it was really awesome. I mean, did you like it?
It was so good. I mean, I like the food. I don't approve of the concept necessarily
of having to cook your own. It's like, what are we paying for?
Well, it's kind of like just bring it out cooked. You're at a restaurant, so like it's fun, but I'm like, I don't particularly view it as necessary. I don't know if that's a popular.
I thought it was fun. I mean, it's fresh, and it's nice when you've got
I guess so.
Like friends that. I mean, that's the thing. It's like super hot, right? You like pull it off the pit.
That's
and
true.
It's there,
that's
ready
the benefit.
To go.
It's hot and fresh.
So that was something I liked about it. I mean, but we definitely benefited from having a couple friends that had been to other locations like that before. They seem to be very familiar with doing that in Houston. So
so I felt like I was happy because I didn't have to cook at all in the end because I was furthest from the pit and they were taking charge. So I was like, okay, then this is fine with me. Yeah. If I had to be doing all the cooking, I'd be more like, I don't know.
But yeah, it was really cool. I had a really good time, and it was really awesome getting to catch up with them, especially like being able to kind of host him as a guest. Normally I'm the one coming into Houston and hitting him up. So yeah, that was definitely my highlight, was getting to see my stepbrother this week.
Yeah, it's nice to have like an older perspective, like a little bit older than you.
He's really nice, right? Like,
yeah, he was so nice. This is my first time meeting him too. Yeah, and he was so sweet.
Cool. Yeah. Well, so that was the big highlight. I mean, and I can keep the ball rolling.
I can do my highlight. It's pretty quick.
Okay. Yeah. Go for it.
It's not that exciting.
Yeah.
So my highlight was this morning at Starbucks. I saw a girl with Chromatica pants.
Wow, that's a recent one.
And I was wearing this shirt, a Dawn of Chromatica shirt for the remix album, and she first came up to me and was like, nice shirt, and I was like, nice pants, because I just saw her pants. I thought she was saying something about my hair, not my shirt. And then I looked down and I was like, oh yeah, like Chromatica for her pants and my shirt. We're both Chromatica. So
I mean, I feel like I've never looked at you and you didn't have a Chromatica shirt.
I know. I have a long series on my channel of showing my Chromatica merch.
Exactly. Like,
but
it's so synonymous with you.
I know. I uploaded the finale recently. Well, that's why it's weird to see other people, because I feel like crazy for having a bunch of Chromatica stuff. And
for all my friends watching, Chromatica is Lady Gaga's most recent album.
Yes, it is. And yeah, that was cool.
That was great. I never see that.
The Chromatica sweatpants are a deep cut for the merch. So.
It is. I remember you debating about whether or not to get them.
I only have a couple pants because they're very expensive for sweatpants.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm never going out to get coffee these days. I mean, normally I'm making coffee. There just happened to be a lapse this day, and so.
I don't drink coffee. We were just at Starbucks for Cameron to get his kind of temporary while he makes a new batch of coffee.
Yeah. Like I make iced coffee at home for usually a 10-day supply, but I'm on the 11th day.
So that was cool.
Yeah, that was
I
great.
appreciated.
For sure.
Shout out to the little monster at Starbucks.
Dang, that's your highlight?
I know, that's depressing, right? I mean,
not as depressing as what happened to me.
Well, true. It's not that, like, the week was horrible. It's just, like, nothing extraordinary happened either. Mm-hmm. So that was the closest I could think of to a highlight.
We didn't do anything?
It was just a very normal week. I mean...
We did laundry. Oh, and that would have been a low light because
yeah, it was a low light.
I still haven't heard back from them, but like, yeah, I know. I was thinking about that yesterday.
Yeah, so like when we loaded 3 washers up because we had a lot of laundry.
We don't have a washer and dryer here in our unit. Yeah. There is. What?
Wait, what?
Plugged in.
Oh my God, our camera just went out. Just for the record.
I know, right?
For the audio record.
Now the podcast is all we got. Okay. Yeah, sorry.
So our camera, something.
Yeah.
It turned off
it's
randomly.
So weird. It's plugged in and then said battery depleted.
Yeah, but it's plugged in.
Yeah.
So we're back.
We're back.
We were talking about laundry.
We were talking about laundry.
How annoying it is.
So, right, we have a laundry room where... Like how?
I don't know.
All right. Well, picking it up where we left off. So, yeah, we had this like laundry room. We were doing laundry and like I was going in to put in the freshener in the middle of the rinse cycle. And I go in there I have 2 washers for my stuff. She just has 1. But I go in there and I lift the lid. Everything was actually working fine. I lift the lid to put in the refreshener, and then I close it, and then it starts beeping at me and giving me weird error signals.
Yeah. So basically, my washer had an error, and it wouldn't drain the water, so it was just my clothes sitting in still water. It didn't continue the cycle, and so I had to come and transfer all of my stuff, like digging my hand into the deep depths of the soapy water and transfer them. Obviously they're like soaked and dripping. Transfer them. Luckily there was a washer open next to it and I just transferred everything, and I had to pay again for a new cycle and the new washer, so I had to like request a refund.
Yeah, we're waiting on that still.
So yeah, that was another low light of the week.
It was.
But otherwise my week was pretty normal, but yeah, it was just like no major fun highlights aside from the dinner with your brother, which was more your highlight.
So then also on Wednesday night going into Thursday morning, so it's kind of related to, this is my low light of the week, and it's pretty low. Interestingly, the stairs here behind us was where my bicycles used to be here inside of our place. And we were doing some cleaning this summer, and we were trying to kind of declutter and get rid of things that were sort of like an eyesore. So one of which were my kind of unrideable bicycles. In order to kind of make space here inside of our living room, I decided to try to find a way to put them outside. Now, this is not my first rodeo. I'm very used to what that entails and the kind of target they kind of create by just making them visible to the public. And I thought I did everything I could to secure these things. I woke up on Thursday morning and I had normally opened the blinds to our patio, and when I did, the first thing I noticed was one of our hanging plants was down on the ground, and I was like, oh man, that's sad. Like, that was one of my favorites that I felt like I brought back to life. And then I look up and I see that the 2 bicycles were missing. And it was so weird. They were, like, again, really secured. They were U-locked together through the frames and wheels, and then I had a cable lock with a padlock on it. They would have to snap through that cable, and even then, the bikes were still U-locked together. So it's clear that they snapped through the cable itself, and I'm assuming that that, I mean, there would be no way for them to get through that U-lock without making a lot of noise. So I'm guessing that they like knocked down the plant when they were trying to lift that over all of our plants and stuff, because it's kind of tight back there. Yeah, it's just real frustrating, and like it's so stupid because it's a pretty peaceful neighborhood. You can't really see like our patio from the street whatsoever. So it's like somebody really had to like know about them being there,
Like
and
it was premeditated.
yeah, and know like what they were doing in order to get them out of there, because it's dark, like it's so dark. And that was my low light, and that's the end of our podcast.
No, it is. Cameron has to go to work today.
Oh yeah, I gotta get going. Sad, but this did not feel like work. This was actually a lot of fun. All barring all technical difficulties, we'll definitely get that worked on. I guess another little highlight. I'm gonna sneak in a highlight, right? Because
to end on a good note.
Yeah, end on a high note, and it's very recent. Like just and a few minutes before starting this is when it happened. I set up our it's called a network attached storage, right? So it's really a server, and it's
this
super
is
geeky.
Nerd talk.
Yeah, it's super geeky. The only real reason I have for it is because I'm a video editor, and over the past 5 years, I've accumulated just so much media that takes up so much data space, and having to just constantly try to remember what shoot is on what external hard drive is like just really annoying to me, and there's just so many more benefits.
Can you explain, in layman's terms, what a server is?
Oh, okay. Yeah, in this case, it's a wireless server. So, it's a cloud device. It's like a cloud drive.
I'll explain it. It's a thing that has a bunch of hard drives in it and a bunch of storage for digital files. And now we can access it through our separate PCs and laptops and whatever, and we can store our data and files there.
Yeah, like in theory, I should be able to log into it on my phone here and just immediately upload this video straight to it.
That's actually really cool. I didn't know that.
Yeah, that's the whole point of it.
Right.
Being
So
network attached.
It's like
right?
It's expensive. It's hard technically to figure it all out, to get it all online. And Cameron just got that set up this morning. So it's really cool. I have a lot of footage. You have a lot of footage. We have just a lot of media going around. So it's something we've talked about for a long time.
Yeah.
And
it's an investment for sure. And it's only a viable investment if you, I guess, are content creators. No. But if you're somebody that is really working with a lot of data.
Yeah. If you stream, if you make videos.
Yeah. Your stuff adds up so quickly.
It does. It's a mess.
But yeah, I mean, the big benefit is being able to log into it remotely. So in theory, any device anywhere that's connected to the internet, I just log in and connect to it.
So now we're not limited to the storage on whatever device we're on, of our PCs, of whatever.
Yeah, it's massive storage, right?
Yeah.
I mean, and the other big benefit to it is, so it's set up in RAID, which just basically means it's backed up. It is set up for redundancy so that if a drive fails,
that's cool too.
We can just take it out and put in a new drive, and it'll rebuild and reconstruct that data that was missing.
I'm so bad at digital organization, so I had trouble mustering up enthusiasm for this new development, but I think it's really good, and I will need to get organized at some point. I don't look forward to it, but you have to do it.
It's a long-term solution.
It's just like cleaning a house.
Yeah. Like over the course of decades, all this stuff piles up. I'm really excited.
It's like we got a big storage unit for our media.
Well, I mean, so the kind of low light part of it is that when we were both going to university at the time, our university had a partnership agreement with Google for unlimited Google Drive space. And at the time, I thought it was too good to be true.
And it was.
Turns out, promises are hard to keep.
Yeah, so our university retracted their promise in giving us unlimited storage for our files. Or Google, whoever. And now we have to download a shit ton of gigabytes from the internet, from our Google Drive.
Yep.
And put it somewhere, and now we have. That's what motivated this new server thing too, because there's a lot of transferring that needs to happen this month of October.
Yeah, they're gonna take away everything by the end of this month, and I've definitely got just a ton of my old school video projects on there. So.
All my friends were like complaining about theirs being like, 7 gigabytes to 30 gigabytes. Their new limit for us is 4 gigabytes. That they're like, you have to reduce your drive to 4 gigabytes. And then I felt like I had a lot because I had 66 gigabytes taken up on my drive, and then Cameron.
I have like 448 gigabytes on there. Now, the good thing is that a lot of it was like redundant. Like a lot of it was stuff that I've already got on hard drives, and I was just uploading it for a client or somebody to be able to access and see. So, but it's just such a headache to have to like fish out what was backed up, what wasn't.
Yeah.
It's really frustrating, and I should have known it would be too good to be true and never relied on it as much as I did. And then here we are, right? Like, because if Google was smart, they would have known like that's not sustainable for every student that ever walks through that campus to have unlimited space for indefinitely.
Yeah.
So time finally came, and
I still have to do that.
Yeah, so we're in the process of doing that, but so now that's a big upgrade for us, and that's a nice high note to end on. And hopefully because of these types of upgrades, we'll be able to keep bringing y'all the fresh content y'all love and deserve.
Hopefully, we'll see if Cameron edits this at all, because he's now taking more responsibility with the podcast.
I'm trying to help and sustain momentum. Like I happen to be in a decent time and decent like part of my life right now, and it's not that I
think it has to do with you not being in school for once.
That's a big part of it.
Because Cameron is addicted to school.
Addicted. Oh my god, I'm addicted to self-growth.
Yeah, he is, and he's always just enrolling in more school stuff and has no time for other stuff. So now hopefully
I think I can make it work. Like I can fit in the pockets and make this work because I want to. And I mean, I love talking with you, and I do miss being part of a podcast.
And I want to talk just general topics, pop culture topics.
Yeah. Just
kind of keep it open-ended, kind of life topics. That's something I really want to just discuss more online, but my channel doesn't really. It's not about that, so just life things, interesting things.
No, I mean,
are aliens real? Things like that. Hopefully, Gato makes appearances. She was behind us for this episode.
Yeah,
she's behind your head now. But
we don't know if it's gonna be a weekly thing.
Yeah, we don't know.
We'll play it by ear. We'll get this one out there and take it from there.
Yeah.
Cool. Sounds well, good. With that being said, we love y'all. Peace and butterflies. And I'm Cameron.
I'm Zelenny.
And we will see y'all next time.
Didn't you have an outro before?
I mean,
I know, but it was like a thing. It was like a thing.
There was something.
There
was
something.
We're going to have to go dig into the archives on that one.
We don't remember.
And goodbye.